Good morning, Mets fans, and welcome to a Wednesday edition of Driving with Mr. Met. It has been forever, it seems, since I've recorded a video. Thanksgiving has come and gone. Not a whole lot has happened in the world of baseball and in the world of the Mets, but wanted to get a video recorded today so I could give you guys a little update on where things stand with a few little tidbits of news that have been floating out in Metsville over the last week or so. As I said, it's been pretty quiet in Major League Baseball's off-season, with the hot stove not quite heating up just yet. As I surmised, this remains to be the case. Giancarlo Stanton is going to be the guy that decides when the hot stove gets hot. You know, and it's not just Stanton himself, of course. It's the Marlins and their trading partners. Right now, the trading partners for Stanton appear to be all National League teams, which is not surprising considering that Stanton is a plus defender in right field, and would have next to no value, or would lose some value as a designated hitter. Anyway, Stanton is being courted by the Giants, as we've all known. The Dodgers, as no one should be surprised about, because they go after every big money potential player. And the more surprising name of the bunch, at least to me, was the Cardinals. So it's interesting to see that. Now, I read two little snippets last night. One thing I read was that Giancarlo Stanton prefers to go to the Dodgers. So that was one thing I read. The other was that the Giants are trying to put together a package of players that would return not only Stanton but also D. Gordon, and that of course affects the plans for what I think the Mets should be doing, and that is going hard after D. Gordon to play second base for the Mets in 2018. But so again, nothing really has happened with Stanton. It's just sort of rumors that are bandied about, and I wanted to touch on them. Second thing is the first base situation kind of continues to be a question mark for the Mets, that is. There are a lot of options. The obvious one is just handing the glove to Dom Smith and saying, "It's your position, pal, go get him." Sandy Alderson doesn't seem inclined to do that based on his comments. He pretty much said that Dom has not shown enough in August, had not shown enough rather in August and September to have earned the starting role. And I don't completely and entirely disagree with him. And I'm sort of pleased when I read that Dom Smith is going to be focusing on his conditioning for 2018, and I'm hoping he takes that seriously and he makes that a part of his offseason regimen and carries it through into the season. But Dom Smith is the most obvious option. Of course, there's Wilmer Flores, another internal option. But assuming the Mets go external, it's looking like there are three first base / outfield options. I don't know how much these guys are going to cost, but the three are Jay Bruce, and these are the three that I would consider. Jay Bruce being my number one choice, Logan Morrison being number two, and Adam Lind being number three. Now, Adam Lind, of course, played for the Nationals last year. He had a pretty good season, put up some good numbers. So there's Adam Lind. There's Logan Morrison, who's always been one of those sort of mid-tier players who's always has decent numbers every year. Last year he had a really good year, might command some additional money as a result, but he's an option. And of course, our old friend Jay Bruce, who, again, of the three, I would like to see the Mets go after him if that's the direction they decide to go. Bruce showed last year that he can and will play first base if necessary. He, of course, plays right field, which right now is a hole. So it'll be interesting to see how the Mets deal with that scenario. The third option is, for me, the least likely. Ken Davidoff wrote a week or so ago that right now the Mets have an opportunity to make a Carlos Beltran / Pedro Martinez type splash with ushering in the new regime, running the team and the coaching staff. The idea that Ken Davidoff floated was to offer a 7-year, $150 million or more deal to the 28-year-old Eric Hosmer. And I don't know how I feel about that. That's a lot of money to lock up in one guy, and that one guy has had good years, but I don't know that he's had great years, and I don't know that you spend that kind of money on a power position at first base. Guy who's a good base runner, plays the game hard, plays the game right, good hitter, but not really a power hitter. At least not known for being a power hitter, not your typical first baseman slugger type. I just don't know that it's a smart move to spend that kind of money on Hosmer, regardless of what message it sends to the rest of baseball that the Mets are serious about competing again, which, as Ken Davidoff wrote, was sort of what the Mets said in 2005 when they went out and brought in Pedro and Beltran. So, segueing from Carlos Beltran, that's my final little tidbit today. I read on Mets blog last night that Carlos Beltran is going to interview for the vacant New York Yankees manager position. And that is intriguing as hell to me. Of course, Beltran just retired from playing. I didn't know that he was going to be interested in transitioning into a coaching role immediately, and most certainly not a head coach, manager role. Frankly, I would have thought that Beltran's more comfortable move would be to slide into the bench coach role in Houston that was abandoned by Alex Cora. Now, I don't know if the Astros have filled that vacancy yet. I don't follow the Astros like I follow the Mets. But that would have made, to me, more sense for Beltran to be looking at, going with and sticking with a team that he's just played with. And he has relationships with all of these players, and they absolutely respect him. And it just seems like a better fit versus the Yankees, who, Beltran, of course, played there, but I don't know that he knows these young guys as well as he might know the young guys on the Astros. But again, whatever. Interesting to read that Beltran is interviewing as a potential candidate as the Yankees manager. So that's going to wrap it up for today. I, as always, appreciate your watching the video. It has been a week since I recorded one, so I'm sorry for that delay. However, I suspect that the same thing is going to happen, and unless something big breaks, I don't really have much to talk about. So there may be another week off, but I hate to just come out here and ramble because I haven't made a video. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'll post something when there's something worth talking about, but until then, again, I appreciate your watching. If you're not already doing so, follow me on Twitter at Mr_Met. And as always, let's go Mets.